Health is like your playlist. You never know what's coming next, whether you need a checkup, room medicine, or something more urgent. You need to know where to go. Enter Emory, with access to over 120 primary care locations and nearly 60-minute clinics and urgent care centers across the region, where you're in the hands of specially trained doctors and nurses, so you're covered no matter what. Click on this banner to find a location near you.
Blog Talk Radio.
Hello, hello, hello. It's another glorious day, my tea-sippers, and you know what time it is. I hope you have all of your comforts together because it's time to dish the tea. And your dish darlings, with Big Meat.
Can't wait. Time to dish tea with Big Meat. Time to dish tea with Big Meat. Time to dish tea with Big Meat. Time to dish tea with Big Meat.
Darling. And hello out there in Blog Talk Radio land, here in the glorious United States and across the globe. Hello to all of my listeners over there in Turkey and Greece and Ireland and in the Ukraine and over there in Asia and in the Caribbean islands and, of course, right here in the lovely old United States of America. It's another glorious Wednesday, my tea sippers. And you know what time it is. So I want you to get all of your crumpets together because, darlings, it's time to dish tea. And you're dishing tea, darlings, with Big Meats. What's going on, babies? Oh, we have had an incredible last 7 days, child. And my heart is heavy. My heart is, it is just, laden with sadness, and it's one of those things. We had a number of people to lose their lives recently, and I think the one that has hit me the hardest is Hollywood royalty, honey. Black Hollywood royalty herself, Miss Della Reese, has made transition. She went on to go ahead on up there, honey, with the children over there on the other side of creation, child. She left here on November 19th, and we heard about it on November 20th. And that was significant for me because November 20th is the Transgender Day of Remembrance. And, every year on November 20th, we honor and remember those who are of the trans community who have lost their lives violently to hate and ignorance and intolerance and injustice and tomfoolery and carrying on. So this particular show is a Don't Come Out of a Bag. Now, we can talk about any and everything that you want to talk about. All you got to do is call in. The number to call is 347-205-9183. That's 347-205-9183. Press the number 1. Just press it one time. You will hear the caller say, or the queue rather, that you are in the host queue. Once you hear that lets you will know that you're here. Your hand will be raised on my screen, and that lets me know that you have something to say, and I will come to you at the appropriate time. However, please note that, baby, because it say don't come out of a bag, I mean just that. Do not come out of a fucking bag, because, darling, if you come out of a bag on me, I'm going to come out of a bigger bag. Okay, on you. So what does that mean, darling? That means if you come up in here and say something real stupid and off the wall and carrying on and really don't know how to support your point to where you have something that's going to be valid, that's going to have a different perspective, a different opinion, and you can't sit down here and support your point, then, honey, guess what? No, you're coming out of a bag. You coming out of left field some damn where, and we're not going to tolerate all that, okay? So, you come out of a bag on me, I'm coming out of a bigger bag on you, even if it means just simply hanging you the fuck up, okay, and moving on. So that there is going to be that. As you can tell, honey, I have a party mouth, and I make no excuses for it. So please, Dishing Tea with Big Meech is for mature audiences, and the language and or subject matters that you hear on this program are not intended for children or anyone who is not mature and or responsible enough to handle the situation presented. So your listening discretion is advised. Let me repeat that one more time. Dishing Tea with Big Meech is for mature audiences, and the language and or subject matters that you hear on this program are not intended for children or anyone who is not mature and or responsible enough to handle what's being presented here on this program. So your listening discretion is advised. Now is the time for you to take the children, put them in the other room with the other flat screen TV, so they can watch SpongeBob or Dora or Kate and Ernie, Bert and Ernie, Kate and Alice. See, I got them all twisted. I don't care who they watch, child, because just put them someplace else so that you can become comfortable. Because, darlings, it's time for the grown and sexy to become the seasoned and sophisticated. If you are at work, the time now is to turn your volume down to a respectful level and or put your headphones on, honey. Because none of you bitches will come to me anywhere I am, the Walgreens, the Walmart, okay, Piccadilly, Pick and Save, okay, Piggly Wiggly or the Kroger, honey, okay, Saks Fifth Avenue, or if we're at Neiman Marcus, I don't care where we are, you will not come to me and say that you got demerits, you got written up, you got this, you got that, because of something that I said or whatever. No. I'm not entertaining any of that. So please govern yourselves accordingly and do what you need to do to govern your livelihood and to protect it, okay? So, having said all that, if you're listening by computer, honey, the tea room is open. Ha, ha, ha. The tea room is open, so you can go over there and you can put your comments and questions and entertain me over there as well, and we can get this thing on and popping. If you do not have access to the tea room, as simple, all you have to do is go to blogtalkradio.com and just create a page like you do with any social media platform. It's free of charge, of course, and you'll be able to go ahead on in. If you don't want to create a page, honey, if you come in there, you'll be listed as guest and then have a number by it. You'll be able to read everything that's going on, but you won't be able to be interactive. So just keep that in mind. Currently, I'm the only person in there because we haven't had the tea room open in such a long time, child, to where, hell, I think folks have forgot. But it's been a minute since we've been able to get in here. And so we are now back on track, baby. Ha! So, having said all that, we don't have any current announcements that are coming up. Things that I have to launch or say special to you and for you, whatever. Outside of saying that we are embarking, this is Thanksgiving Eve, so I'm sure all of you are probably, trying to get your prep cookie in and carrying on. You're cutting up your onions and your bell peppers and your mushrooms and your leeks and your green onions and your shallots and all of that, to get all that together for whatever it is that you're cooking. Yes, I'm going to be cooking here. I don't like to cook too much, a lot of traditional stuff on the holidays anymore because as a culture, culturally speaking, our particular people, African Americans, honey, or Native Americans of African descent, or indigenous people from the African continent, okay? We tend to eat like that all the time. On Sunday dinners, at every holiday we cooking the same damn things, honey. Except for in the summertime. We may not get the turkey in the summertime, but we definitely gonna get that damn ham along with the barbecue in the winter. In the summertime and carrying on. Somebody gonna make the mac and cheese, somebody gonna do the greens, somebody gonna do the string beans and white potatoes, somebody gonna make the damn sweet potato pies and the pound cake and the red velvet cake. Somebody got to have, you got two different kinds of potato salad going on. Somebody going to make macaroni and cheese. We always eating that kind of stuff. And even though I don't like to cook everything traditional at the holiday times, I always try to make mine a little different and carry it on. So this time, I am going to do macaroni and cheese because I promised somebody they're coming in from out of town and they want to try my mac and cheese. So I said, okay, I'll make some macaroni and cheese. We're going to do some baked beans, baby. And I'm not making my beans from scratch this time, honey, so that's okay. So we got a couple cans of Bushes. But see, I got a secret to doctor them girls, honey. Oh, you need to come try my baked beans, baby. Okay, so we're doing some baked beans, some macaroni and cheese. I got a Boston butt roast. I've been waiting to put this bitch in the oven for a long piece of minute. Okay, and darling, when I tell you, that was my cell phone, y'all, that's ringing in the background. But I'm telling you That bitch is gonna slow roast to just fall apart. You ain't even gotta cut it. That's how. Oh, that's okay. And then we're gonna make. I'm gonna make a little thing of dressing though. I'm not gonna do a whole thing of dressing though, but I am gonna make some, just so that I can have it. But I think what I'm going to add to the menu that's going to take you there, darling, I am going to do some stuffed bell peppers. Yes, I am. I ain't had no stuffed pepper in a little minute. And we're going to sit down here and do a dirty rice, little combination stuffing in those peppers. Ooh. Now, I thought I was going to get cute and get all, interchange. I was going to get some green peppers and some red peppers. I didn't want the yellow. The yellow was a little sweet, and I didn't want the sweet pepper in there. Although that would, broiled or whatever, they are rather cute. However, child, did you realize that them damn things cost a mint? I was like, what is going on with the peppers? The damn red peppers, they wanted $2 a piece per pepper. I was like, $2? Why are we doing $2 per pepper? Okay. Why are we doing $2 per pepper? And I'm getting the green peppers for 69 cents each. So we just doubled up on the green peppers, right? So that's what we got. We got green peppers. So we're gonna stuff them peppers, baby. Yeah. So I think I'm gonna do a dirty rice, little soiree combination, honey, with the stuffed pepper. And then add some mushrooms and some onions, and I got some liquid smoke for some extra flavor. And we figure to do this thing, cheering. So that there is going to be dinner for tomorrow. Okay, so I said all that to say, I know a lot of you guys are getting ready to cook and things of that nature. And so today's show, I call today's show "I Speak Your Name: A Day of Remembrance." Okay, and so throughout today's show, I'm going to be playing snippets of many different Della Reese interviews, of things that I thought were significantly important in her life, that talks about a couple of things that I want to highlight as far as her career is concerned. Like I said, I am hurt by this tremendously. And all that, and I will get into that momentarily. Let me do the commercial break first, and then when I come back, I'm going to share my story about Della and the time that I met her and things of that nature, and then we're going to get all off into the show. Like I said, this is a Don't Come Out of a Bag Wednesday, although I'm specializing or I'm going to center my comments and my thoughts around Della Reese, around the children from our transgender community during the Transgender Day of Remembrance. And we're going to talk about a couple other things. So I'm going to get into that when we come back. So let me take a brief little break right here. And I got to go get me my little libation. Y'all know I am a throat coat tea drinking fool for the show. And I love the traditional medicinal brand of throat coat tea. Okay, I love that brand. It is very soothing and calming and carried on. And usually I use that as a base. Like if I'm mixing stuff together, I use the throat coat as a base for everything. So saying all that, let me get back with you after this little commercial break. Let my sponsors come in. We got some new sponsors coming soon. Praise the Lord. So, yes, I'm very excited about that and all of that. So I'll talk to you guys in just a few moments.
Maggie Lee's Community Center offers a unique array of programs designed to improve the lifestyle and well-being of the community. Located at 7700 Puritan Avenue in Detroit, Maggie Lee's Community Center specializes in child care and latchkey services, as well as senior citizen activities and block club functions. For more information about Maggie Lee's Community Center, call 313-737-9042. Maggie Lee's Community Center, giving the people a chance to show how much they have to contribute.
We interrupt this regularly scheduled program.
Ladies and gentlemen, you are now dishing tea with Big Meech.
Trigg Laboratories manufactures premium sexual wellness and consumer healthcare products and is the parent company of Wet International Incorporated, one of the world's best-selling lines of personal lubricants and intimacy products. We carry a large variety of personal and flavored lubricants, flavored heating massage lotions, and aromatherapy heating massage oils. Whether you need a little or a lot, Wet has you covered. Our line of high-quality, innovative, and unique products are formulated using only the finest ingredients at our FDA-approved facility, meeting the strictest manufacturing standards. Wet is available worldwide at specialty stores and online retailers and at pharmacies nationwide. For more information or to find a retailer near you, log on to www.stayswetlonger.com. Trigg Laboratories. We create fun, quality, trusted products to innovate your intimacy. The internet sensation is now in print. Get your copy of the book that will not only change your life, but change your thinking as well. Awakenings, Epiphanies Along a Spiritual Journey is a compelling collection of blogs that have been the pinnacle of spiritual development and discernment for its author, internet talk show host Big Meech. Not only does this body of work offer the insight from his life experiences, it provides the reader an amazing opportunity to go on a journey that will awaken insight into their own higher power while encouraging personal growth and spiritual development. With chapters such as, I cannot give you life, nor can I live it for you. Truth is a bad bitch. It's time for a career change. I am not your God. And in what love do you operate? You will be captivated and compelled to take the life lessons the book has to offer and apply them to your life. To get your copy today of Awakenings, Epiphanies Along a Spiritual Journey, go to www.dishingtea.com, or you can find it on the web at www.amazon.com, or if you prefer an ebook, find it at www.smashwords.com. Awakenings, Epiphanies Along a Spiritual Journey. Are you ready? Are you ready for the journey?
Well, let's just do that all the way through the beginning. Feel like it's time. Feel like it's time. Feel like it's time. Feel like it's time to ease on down the road. Ease on down the road. Now don't you carry the thing.
Miss Della Reese, baby, easing on down the road. I love it. I love it. I love it. And we are back. If you're just tuning in right now, we are now sitting up here, babies, doing our thing right here. You're dishing tea with Big Meech. And the number to call in if you want to join in on this conversation is 347-205-9183. That's 347-205-9183. Yes. All right. Now, we got a great day and a grand rising to you all my tea sippers. Today, we will be celebrating the life of a member of Black Hollywood royalty. The one and only Miss Della Reese. She made transition on November 19th, 2017, and I would like to take a little time to just honor her life and her career. Also, we're going to speak the names of those trans citizens who have lost their lives to violence, ignorance, hate, and intolerance. Plus, we will talk about what it means to the world now that Charles Manson has transitioned. Yes, the original face of modern-day evil. Is the world really happy that he's dead, or do we even care anymore? And that's the $25,000 question for all the cash and the prizes. Yeah. And I want to start a new series, y'all. The American Constitution and You is what I'm calling it. What does it really say? What I want to do is I want to take one or two of the articles, and we're going to get through this whole thing eventually. I'm going to get through all of the amendments, all of the this, all of the that. I want us to become familiar with how this system works. Everything about our government, about our system, about everything it means to be an American is wrapped around and infused and entangled and has been built on the foundation of what the Constitution has to say. Now, here's the thing that's going to be different with this particular conversation, because I'm not just going to read it and say, oh, this is what it says, honey. I want us to get some kind of comprehensive breakdown to it. If I can't find any experts, if you will, that knows the law, that knows how to interpret what this is saying and carrying on, then, honey, we're going to read it. We're going to get the dictionary and look up words that may be this and the other, because a lot of this sounds like it's legalese, if you will, and then we're just going to sit down and discuss it. You know, we're going to sit down and understand, understand exactly what the Constitution really says. What does it have to say? How is it that this particular document is governing all of the 50 states that embody the United States of America? And another part of this conversation is, since we're talking about Americans, if you're following me on Facebook, y'all know I do Facebook Lives here and there. We do a Dishing Tea with Big Meech on Facebook Live, darling. So you get to see my face and carry it on while I'm at the donut factory or wherever I am. And I bring up topics and things, and you get to interact with me if you're following, and you get to comment and carry it on. And I go through the comments and read the comments as I can, you know, and entertain the discussion in that particular format. There is a space which I'm going to be doing soon where I can invite people on in the live chat. You know, you Facebook Live with me. We'll be video chatting and carrying on. So that there is coming. However, we'll see how we're going to get through this. But yeah, the American Constitution and You, what does it really say? Okay. So, yeah, that's going to be something that we're going to get started with here, because I think it's time that we educate ourselves about how this system really, really, really works, okay? So, having said all that there is what this is all about. Now, I'm trying to go over my notes and things, but as always, y'all know whenever I try to be cute, I get everything stumbling and stabbing and shits and going through all these particular changes. But we're going to sit down here and do it this way. Okay. I'm going to pull up the Wikipedia page on Della. How about that? Because some of y'all, I'm going to start here with one of the highlights of Della Reese's career is that a lot of you do not know that Della was the very first black woman to have her own talk show. Yeah, so before Oprah, honey, there was Della Reese. Okay, and let me see if I can pull up this. See, I'm trying to pull up the interviews that will explain what had happened, and this is why I wanted to infuse this, but I couldn't download them so that they could just be ready as sound bites, and I could just go on to play them. So I had to play them from YouTube. And what is happening, darling, is that I got to keep stopping and going in and out of this damn contraption to get to where I'm trying to go. Shit. Bastards. Okay. So, yeah, I got to go backwards, children. I want to go backwards. How come this thing will not let me go backwards? In any event, yes, Della Reese had her own talk show at one particular point, and we lived for it. For those who remember catching it, I remember catching it in reruns, because they did re-air it at one point, and so I was a little child because she said it aired from 1969, 1970. I came on the planet in 1970, and that's when I stepped onto the scene and things. So I remember seeing her show in some kind of rerun form or whatever, and then also she was always co-hosting, like on Mike Douglas and carrying on. So I've seen her in action on many occasions. But having said that, what is absolutely wonderful about her career is that she and Red Fox, they were like the black version, our black Cary Grant and Vivian Lee, that kind of thing. And we had a number of people who became the black versions of the Hollywood couples or whatever, Ossie and Ruby Dee and carrying on, but Della and Fred were just that couple, every time if you saw them in everything, honey, it was absolutely phenomenal how well they worked together and how well their friendship was. I'm still trying to pull this up, child, and things of that nature. At the same time, I want to open up the phone lines and give you an opportunity, too, for if you have stories that you would like to share about Della Reese and carrying on, please feel free to call in 347-205-9183. And I'll think while I'm sitting up here doing all this, I will share my story with how I met her. I met Della Reese at her book signing. She was in Detroit, Michigan, coming through, and as you all know, she is from Detroit herself, and she came through. We were downtown at the Renaissance Center, and in that, she was doing her thing, and we come through, and it was a wonderful, wonderful day. So when I got my turn up to her, my sister Monique was with me. And now, my sisters are identical twins. However, this particular photograph that she had of herself in the book, she and my sister looked identical to that picture. So my sister had her to sign, I think, on that particular picture. Now, when I got to her, I told her, I said, it is such an honor to meet you. And what she did not realize was, in my cabaret shows, I was developing my character of her because I would get to impersonate her. And I told her that. I said, I am a Della Reese impersonator. And she says, she looked at me, she said, oh, really? And I said, yes, ma'am. I'm looking to perfect it again. So I'm studying you and carrying on. And the Ease On Down the Road piece that I just played, I asked her if it was recorded. And she said she wasn't sure how to go about getting that because she found out that they were just releasing a lot of her music at the time, and that she told me to go and to find out through the record companies that were releasing these records. And I said, okay, I would definitely do that. And then she looked at me. She said, "Oh, isn't it just fun?" And I said, "Oh my God!" And so she had inscribed in my book, "Hello there, Demetrius. Glad to know that you do me." And that there was just everything to me, you know. And she shook my hand, she gave me a hug, and that there was just a joyous, joyous moment in my life. Luckily that I can share that story, but at the same time of sharing that story, honey, do I still have the book? Is probably the next question you guys are probably thinking and carrying on. And no, I don't. Why I don't is because I had a break in, and someone had stolen the book. They had stolen that book. I had that book autographed. I had Patti LaBelle's first book when she was on her book tour. That was when I sang to her. You know, Patti LaBelle is my entertainment mama, honey. Patty signed a book to me. That's gone. Sinbad's book was signed to me. That's gone. And so when I met all these people, you know, I had their books autographed personally. And so when I had my robbery, honey, it came up missing with the robbery. So I don't have that piece of history anymore. And now that she's gone, you know, it saddens me even further that I can't sit down and have that piece of handwriting of hers and carry it on, you know. But here, let me read to you what they put up here on Wikipedia concerning Delarice. Okay, Delarice was born Delarice Patricia Early on July 6, 1931, in the historic Black Bottom neighborhood of Detroit, Michigan, to Richard Theodis Early, an African-American steelworker, and Nellie Mitchell, that's her surname, or her maiden name, rather, a Native American cook of the Cherokee tribe. Her mother had several children before Reese's birth, none of whom lived with her. Hence, Reese grew up as an only child. At 6 years old, Reese began singing in church. From this experience, she became an avid gospel singer. On weekends in the 1940s, she and her mother would go to the movies independently to watch the likes of Joan Crawford, Betty Davis, and Lena Horne portray glamorous lives on screen. Afterwards, Reese would act out the scenes from the films. In 1944, she began her career directing the Young People's Choir after she had nurtured acting plus her obvious musical talent. She was often chosen on radio as a regular singer. At the age of 13, she was hired to sing with Mahalia Jackson's gospel group. Delarice entered Detroit's popular Cass Technical High School, where she attended the same year as Edna Ray Gilly. How does she pronounce this? Giloli, later known as Ellen Bernstein. Oh, how about that? She also continued touring with Mahalia Jackson. With higher grades, she was the first in her family to graduate from high school in 1947 at only 15. Afterwards, she formed her own gospel group, the Meditation Singers. However, due in part to the death of her mother and her father's serious illness, Reese had to interrupt her schooling at Wayne State University to help support her family. Faithful to the memory of her mother, Delarice moved out of her father's house when she disapproved of him taking up with a new girlfriend. She then took odd jobs, such as a truck driver, dental receptionist, and an elevator operator after 1949. Performing in clubs, Early soon decided to shorten her name from Delarice Early to Delarice. Her musical career, she was discovered by Mahalia Jackson, and her big break, wait a minute, let me move the cursor down. Her big break came when she won a contest which gave her a week to sing at Detroit's well-known Flame Show Bar. Reese remained there for 8 weeks. Although her roots were in gospel music, she was now being exposed to and influenced by such jazz artists as Ella Fitzgerald, Sarah Vaughan, and Billie Holiday. In 1953, she signed a recording contract with Jubilee Records, for which she recorded 6 albums. Later that year, she also joined the Hawkins Orchestra. Her first recordings for Jubilee were songs such as In the Still of the Night, originally published in 1937, I've Got My Love to Keep Me Warm, and Time After Time, all in 1947. Those songs were later included on the album And That Reminds Me in 1959. In 1957, Reese released a single called And That Reminds Me. After years of performing, she gained chart success with this song. It became a top 20 pop hit and a million-selling record. That year, Reese was voted by Billboard, Cashbox, and various other magazines as the most promising singer in the Boheme, specifically the aria. Oh, wait a minute. I missed the line. Let me go back. She was voted the most promising singer in 1959. There we go. Reese moved to RCA Records and released her first RCA single, Don't You Know, which was adapted from Giacomo Puccini's music for La Bohème. That's where that is. Okay. Specifically, the aria Quando Men Vo. Quando Mi Invo. That's how it's pronounced. That's the Musetta Waltz. It became her biggest hit to date, reaching to the number 2 spot on the pop charts and topping the R&B charts, then called the Hot R&B Sads. It sold over 1 million copies. It was awarded the gold disc by the RIAA. Eventually, the song became to be widely considered the signature song of her early career. Then she released a successful follow-up single called Not One Minute More that reached number 16. She remained on the Billboard Hot 100 chart with And Now, which was number 69. And in 1960, she released Someday You'll Want Me to Want You, then reached number 56, which was drawn from her Grammy-nominated album, Della. That album rose in the pop charts to number 35. In November 1960, Reese appeared in various advertisements in Ebony magazine for the newly launched AMI Continental Jukebox. Reese recorded regularly throughout the 1960s, releasing singles and several albums. Two of the most significant were the classic Della from 1962 and Waltz With Me Della in 1963, which broadened her fan base internationally. She recorded several jazz-focused albums, including Della Reese Live in 1966 and On Strings of Blue in 1967 and One of a Kind 1978. She also performed in Las Vegas for 9 years and toured across the country. Reese continued to record albums in the following decades, receiving 2 more Grammy nominations in the gospel category for the album Della Reese and Brilliance in 1991 and for the live recorded album My Soul Feels Better Now in 1999. Motown singer Martha Reeves cites Reeves as a major influence and says she named her group the Vandellas after Van Dyke Street in Detroit and Della Reese. How about that? Now, that's something I didn't know. Okay. In her personal life, her mother, Miss Nellie Mitchell Early, died in 1949 from an intracerebral hemorrhage. Reese's father died 10 years later. Reese had an adoptive daughter whom he acquired from a family member unable to care for her, named Dolores Daniels Owens. In 1961, Owens died on March 14, 2002. It was never released whether she died from suicide or from complications stemming from a pituitary disease. Reese said about that painful experience, sharing her frustration with the lack of awareness and knowledge of pituitary disorders, quote, "What when it happened, I thought it was such an odd thing to die from because pituitary problems aren't something you hear about. It makes it harder because you don't understand what happened. It seems so strange and hard to explain. It still does, to be honest, end quote. In 1952, Reese married factory worker Vermont Adolphus Bond Telefero, 19 years her senior, and adopted the stage name Pat Farrow for a week before introducing the stage name she used for the rest of her life. Through sources, those sources differ to. Wait a minute. Those sources differ as to whether this was after the failure of the marriage or simply a show business decision. A second marriage ceremony on December 28, 1959, to accountant Leroy Basil Gray, who had two children by a previous marriage who was kept secret for some time. The marriage either ended in divorce or was annulled on the basis that Gary's previous divorce was invalid. Oh, Della. Reese appeared to have been briefly married to Mercer Ellington, who was then her manager in 1961, before this was annulled due to Ellington's Mexican divorce being ruled invalid. In 1979, after taping a guest spot for The Tonight Show, she suffered a near-fatal brain aneurysm, but made a full recovery after two surgeries by neurosurgeon Charles Drake at University Hospital in London, Ontario. In 1983, she married Franklin Thomas Left, Jr., a concert producer and writer. In 2005, Reese was honored by Oprah Winfrey at the Legends Ball along with 25 other black women. In the 1980s, Reese was ordained as a minister through the Christian New Thought branch known as Unity after serving as senior minister and founder of her own church, Understanding Principles for Better Living. The Up Church is under Universal Federation for Better Living, a denomination of Christian New Thought founded by Reverend Johnny Coleman, a close friend of Reverend Reese Left. As of 2009, they meet at First Lutheran Church in Inglewood, California. In her ministerial work, she was known as the Reverend Dr. Della Reese Lett. On July 6, 2011, Della celebrated her 80th birthday at the Catalina Jazz Club in Los Angeles. In 2015, a Golden Palm Star on the Palm Springs Walk of Stars was dedicated to her. Wait a minute, I got to scroll down a little more. In 2016, shortly after her 85th birthday, Della said Della Reese was said to be in poor health and had undergone multiple surgeries. She further disclosed that she had neglected her health for years, which had contributed to her developing diabetes. After her last appearance on Science Sealed Delivered, she was retired from acting. While Reese would sometimes use a wheelchair, she avoided using one often because it would make her condition worse. Della Reese was a godmother of Roma Downey's daughter, Riley Marie. Reese officiated the marriage ceremony of Roma Downey and Mark Burnett in absence of Downey's late mother. Wow. And then it goes on to talk about her death, and we know about her death. But just to be consistent with this, hold on. Reese died on November 19, 2017, at her Los Angeles, California home. No cause was given. Her representative, Linda Blinsky, told USA Today, "We lost a magnificent woman who was a trailblazer in many ways." So there we have it. Della Reese. Let me go to the phone lines and see if y'all got something to say. Y'all still there? All right, we got somebody. 313-658. 313-658. Now open up your mic, baby. Talk to me. You're dishing tea with Big Meech. What's going on?
Hey, baby.
Hey, what's going on?
Baby, same stuff, different day. Quit playing.
How about it? Okay.
I'm
I'm
Mama
sitting up here, baby. Okay, can you stand it? Can you stand it?
You know I don't have a television, so it's news to me.
Oh, wait. Okay, we dishing the tea for you again?
You dishing the tea, baby.
I'm telling you.
News. About 2 minutes yesterday, and the only thing they talked about was Charlie Rose. I was like,
right.
For real?
Okay, right.
Okay, another white man was taking advantage of his subordinates. I mean, that's nothing new. Do some new news. How about that?
How about it? Okay, the cheer.
Baby. Well, you know I wanted to support you, and I'm always going to be here for you when I can. And you know I got a plate full of nothing going on around here.
Not Nathan's. Not a plate full of Nathan's.
A plate full. I got 2 scoops.
Oops. 2 scoops of raisins and a box of Nathan.
And a box of Nathan. Yes, sir. But it's all good.
Okay.
I heard my family's in town, but I haven't heard from them. Ooh, baby, I love you. I got to go. This is Love Aldridge on the other line.
All right, well, then you go ahead on, and we'll go ahead and tell her I said hey.
I sure will.
All right, darling. Thank you. All right, my darling, what I'm about to do right now is I am going to play another Della Reese classic, honey, and y'all will know this. I'm not going to even say a word, honey. I'm just going to let it play here. Let it load up. Now, give me a second because I got to let it load up. And then we're going to go from there.
700 the bar, 1,300 the craps table. What we do on the door?
It's about 300 on the door. And Vera hasn't handed in the girls on yet.
Yo, man, go tell Vera to bring a fat ass in here. What the fuck is wrong with her, sugar?
What's going on, Thomas? Come on.
I don't know. I put Romeo on him.
Ain't that much happening, man. He had a couple of drinks, dropped about 200 on the crap table, made a phone call and left.
There's nothing to worry about, man.
I'm not worried. I'm just a little concerned. Calhoun's under the bar. The girl dropped by to snoop a little bit. That makes me kind of uncomfortable. But I wish you guys would keep your eyes out for the next couple of days, okay? Vera, you know we tally up at 4 o'clock. What is your problem?
Kiss my ass, sugar. I've got to watch my girl until the last trick is gone, and I'm not about to ask no customer to roll over so I can punch some goddamn clock. Now, this is your place, but I am in charge of the girl. You can just kiss my ass. Oh, baby. Don't do that.
So, baby, how they doing now?
We made about 200.
200? Your girl's been back there all night. How they only make $200?
You kissed my ass quick. I don't never say nothing to you when the crap table and the bar come up short.
Because the bar and the crap table never come up short, just a girl.
Uh-oh.
Now, calm down, Vera.
Kiss my ass, sugar. I want to know what it is Quick is trying to say.
I ain't trying to say shit. You in charge of the girls, right?
I am in charge of the girl.
Are you in charge of the girls?
I am in charge of the girl.
Okay, the girls are always coming up short. All right, let's get the shit out in the open. The girls are always coming up short. Even when the place is packed, the girls come up short. Now, either you or them got a problem with their arithmetic.
Are you saying I'm stealing?
Man didn't say you was stealing, Vera. Now come over here and sit down and shut the fuck up.
You shut the fuck up, Benny. I would tell you to kiss my ass too, but you probably can't find it, you blind motherfucker.
Fuck you, bitch.
You got to step out back.
Hey, it was just a misunderstanding.
No it ain't. It ain't no misunderstanding. Quick just accused me of stealing. And if you're going to take up for Quick in here, we can all be some fighting motherfuckers in here this evening. Bring your ass, nigga. Bring it on. Come on. Bring your ass. Come on, get up and come on, motherfucker.
See Quick getting the old bitch ass.
All right, bitch, you want to fight? We can fight this. Fat motherfucker, I'm tired of your shit.
Just bring your
I'm going to
ass.
beat the shit out of your ass. You want, oh, Jesus.
Come on. Come on.
Oh, come on, Mira. What you want to talk about?
I ain't got nothing to say. You done insulted me, and I got to kick your ass right now. And afterwards, I don't want no hard feelings either.
What the fuck is wrong with you?
Ain't nothing wrong with me. What the fuck is wrong with you? You done accused me of stealing. The only thing I'm stealing out here today is your face.
You out of your fucking mind?
Oh, yeah. That's what I'm talking about. Come on, sucker. Let's get it on.
Oh, you want to fight? You want to fight? Well, then come on, goddammit. Quit fucking me. I'm gonna beat the shit out of your old ass in this motherfucker. Yeah. Punch people in their eyes, right? Right? That's all you got? Yeah, you didn't think it was gonna be like that, right? And now I'm gonna blast your motherfucking face out. Nigga, you hit like a bitch. Oh, you little slow in your thought, ain't you, huh? Yeah. I punch like a bitch, huh? Okay. I punch like a bitch? You'll take a knife to this bitch right now.
You're gonna have to learn to respect me. And the next time you accuse me of stealing, I'm gonna kick your ass again.
Crazy bitch.
Oh, you wanna hit people with garbage cans. Now I got to cut you.
Better put that razor away. Ain't playing no more. You put that fucking razor away, I'm gonna blow your goddamn pinky toe off.
Oh, now you're gonna shoot me in the pinky toe.
I'm not playing with you. I will blow that little black, gnarled, crusty, dead motherfucker the fuck off your foot. Now put the razor away.
You must be crazy to pull your gun on me.
You gonna be the nine-toe having this limping this bitch in Harlem. You don't stop fucking with me. Now put the razor away.
Well, go ahead. Shoot it in. There it is. Shoot. Quick, go ahead. Take your best shot.
You didn't have to shoot that old lady in the foot, man.
Sugar, she was trying to kill me.
She wasn't trying to kill you. She was just trying to scare you.
That's bullshit. The bitch pulled a razor out and was gonna cut me with it. I usually kill somebody over some shit like that. I don't even want to talk about it no more.
Whip your ass.
Fuck you, man.
And if you had let that gun, she'd still be whipping your ass.
You know, y'all laugh at the wrong shit.
Shut in my pinky toe. I'm gonna put what's left of my foot in your ass. I'm gonna kill him, Sugar.
Please, be careful.
I'm gonna kill him out. Yes, come on, take it. Move, I can get up from here.
We're gonna find your toe. You gotta stop overreacting.
Overreacted?
Yes.
Then get your old ass in the car.
Oh, man. Next time you fight somebody, pick on somebody on your own side. Get there.
And we are back, child. That there is the iconic scene from Harlem Nights, honey. And without that scene or without Della in that damn movie, honey, I'm telling you, the movie would not have been what it is. You know what I'm saying? And, you know, the children were trying to give Della a lot of flack for that movie because of all the profanity and carrying on. And she said that before she had taken the role, she had went to her pastor, because she was still in seminary, you know, with Reverend Johnny, and asked her blessing over that and carried on that. And she said she went into counseling and prayer, and was clear. God cleared her of that, and she was able to go ahead on and successfully handle the role. And now that movie is so iconic, and it is a part of what we know in our collectibles, the black movie collectibles and things, and this is one of the themes, child, that is constantly quoted. Of course, the other one, honey, is when she talk about the pussy, honey. I got a girl whose pussy is so good if you threw it in the air to turn into sunshine. That one. Okay. So with that, we have lost a treasure. So that there is that. What I am going to do, rather than go on to the next topic, let me take a small little commercial break right here just to set the tone, because I don't want to go into talk about all the other stuff like that, and we're here with Della. So let's just pause. I'm going to play a couple of commercials, and then I will be right back, okay? Miss Della Reese, my heart is just aching because of that. Oh, I'm aching, children. I'm aching. I'm so aching.
Choosing art and custom framing is a personal experience, and at Eric's I've Been Framed, our consultants work closely with you to bring your vision to life, leaving you with more than a picture. We create showpieces and heirlooms for your family to enjoy for generations. Come and experience our creativity for yourself. Eric's I've Been Framed is located at 16527 Livernois Avenue in Detroit, Michigan. For more information, call 313-861-9263. Dishing Tea Entertainment, deliciously exposing your palate to a cornucopia of rainbow-colored dreams and a black and white reality, while cultivating the masses through a delicate blend of stage, screen, television, radio, print, and social media initiatives. For more information about Dishing Tea Entertainment, call Big Meech at 404-914-5610 or visit www.dishingtea.com. Double Exposure Media Relations is a full-service public relations, marketing, and artist development firm specializing in urban culture and lifestyle. Spearheaded by the Henry Hingers of hip-hop, Mr. Angelo Ellaby, Double Exposure serves to educate its clients about the dollars and cents of the music industry. For more information about Double Exposure Media Relations, call 201-224-6510. 201-224-6510. Double Exposure Media Relations.
This is Haji Abdul from Above Conscious Clothes and Kissing After Dark. When I want to hear the T straight, no chaser, I go to Big Meech on Blog Talk Radio.
I'm back, y'all. I was sitting up here trying to play another song, but the song is not playing. I'm having a difficulty here and there, so never mind. I won't go into it. I'm back now. I was trying to be cute and set a little tone here. Okay. However, let me go here. I'm going to say that the phone lines are still open, honey. 347-205-9183. 347-205-9183. Whatever's on your mind right now, if you have a Della Reese story or a favorite part that you would like to discuss, she was Tess on Touched by an Angel. So if you want to talk about that or whatever, you're more than welcome to give us a call and share your stories. Or whatever is on your mind at this particular time, honey. Let's go there and call in and we can discuss that as well. But I want to transition over to the transgender community. As I said, November 20th is Transgender Day of Remembrance, and I did a Facebook Live concerning this. However, I wanted to come on the air here and share some information with you. As we all know, the transgender community is moving and grooving in the world today. They have gained a lot of equity and built a lot of equity for themselves here within mainstream culture, and they're becoming more and more accepted amongst our mainstream endeavors and within mainstream culture. We have a lot of trans women and trans men who are making names for themselves publicly and are living out loud. You know, of course, a lot of that has to do with the onset of Caitlyn Jenner. You know, when Caitlyn announced to the world who she is and began to live in her absolute truth, you know, this brought attention to the transgender community. And even though we've had other transgender advocates who were already on the forefront, Caitlyn's notoriety is what helped springboard everything into the forefront. Okay, along with other transgender advocates out there, Janet Mock and Laverne Cox, Chaz Bono, let's see, Candace Kane, for Alexis Arquette, you know, part of the acting dynasty and carrying on. You know, we've had these particular trans people, you know, come to the forefront and begin to live their lives out loud and in front of the world. But because of their living their lives, you know, these are still the trailblazers, and these are still the ones who are putting in the work and are putting in the groundwork for the trans children everywhere to be able to just live amongst and coexist in a world that says that they shouldn't, because the world doesn't agree with how they live their lives, okay? And the world doesn't agree with the fact that a trans person has decided to stand in their truth, which means for them to transition into not into other than the gender that they were assigned to at birth. Okay, and we have a lot of discussion about that, but in that discussion, I appreciate the discussion, because what it does is that it allows us to start to grow. You know, for those who disagree with it or whatever, it allows you the opportunity to state your position. Okay, I don't like it. I don't understand it. You know, I don't get it, and blah 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 blah. You know, whatever rocks your boat with it. It allows you the advantage to express yourselves, you know, and to be as respectful as possible. But most times when you're coming from the hip and expressing your disdain for something, honey, oftentimes it is not said respectfully. It is said the way how you feel it. And most of the time you say it how you feel it, you know. And oftentimes it can be hurtful, and it can be a little crass, rude, crude, and all of those kinds of things. But at the same time, it is in truth, and it is in your honesty of what you know, what you believe for it to be. So because of that, we can begin those kinds of discussions so that we can learn how to tolerate. And I don't know. Well, let me come out of the word tolerate, because I think tolerate is not necessarily the word that I would like to use here, because I think tolerate. No. We want to accept the fact that this is what it is. You know, it exists. You don't have to like it, but it exists, okay? And it doesn't require them hurting anybody else. See, you know, there's a lot of things out there, and a lot of people will sit down there and say, oh, well, if we have to accept this, then that means we got to accept that folks like to sleep with dogs, and we have to accept that folks like to harm children. And it's not necessarily trying to accept that that's what they do. We have to acknowledge that this stuff is here, okay? And now trans people are not in this to hurt anybody else. They're not in this to become, you know, some freak of nature, if you will, or whatever the case may be. Trans people are wanting to live and breathe and to be accepted for who they are. And having said all that, usually what happens is we have all those who are full of hate and ignorance and intolerance and unaccepting and volatile and violence and things. Those people who harbor all of those feelings when they see someone who they believe to be trans, I say it like that because oftentimes you end up accosting someone who you think is trans and they're not. Some people have just some well-defined features, honey, that you may say is one thing, honey, but it's not what you think it is. And oftentimes, the trans community are the children, honey, who end up paying a high price for that, and it's ultimately their lives. Okay, so it's like a war zone, a battle zone, if you will, with the trans community because of the onset of the violence and things and how people have done that, okay? Now, as I said, Transgender Day of Remembrance is celebrated, and we honor those lives every November 20th. Since last year, between last year's celebration and this year's celebration, there has been a total of 286 trans persons killed globally. Okay. Now, if you're looking at it in the spectrum of things, you may say that that's not a high number. It should be one. One is too many. However, we have 286 children, trans children, who were murdered within the last 365 days. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. Okay? And with one of the children, this was flat out murder, because it is said that after they killed the trans woman, they gouged out her eyes so that as to not be able to identify her right away. They had taken her bones and it's not specific if they broken them, or if they had dismembered her, decapitated. That's what I'm trying to say. If they did that, and what they did was they buried her bones underneath the chicken coop of the family farm. So I want to follow up with that, because there's nothing you can tell me that says anything about this wasn't premeditated or they were off their medicines, and I will refuse to hear any kind of argument that entertains that, because that's not what this was. This was brutal. This was calculated. This was heinous. And then for them to gouge her eyes out, and then you wanted to make sure she wasn't found, so or there was going to be the least likelihood for her to be found. And y'all going to put this girl's bones underneath the chicken coop. Wow. Okay. Wow. Oh. And just imagine if you were the parents of said child. And regardless of what your relationship was with the child, that there's still a blow. So yeah, I'm trying to pull up the list of names. And like I said, there were 286 people who were killed, and I'm gonna read the American deaths, because some of the names I don't want to mispronounce their names and go through this whole thing, mispronouncing everybody's names, because for the most part, a lot of the names that were on this year's list comes from Brazil, South America, okay? And It's very sad. Okay, it's very sad. But I want to read the members who were killed here in the United States of America. And mind you, what I will read, I'm going to read y'all the countries that reported deaths. If I can get this damn thing to move. Come on, girl. Oh, it's already at the top. Okay, I ain't paying attention. That's what this is. Coming from the list, we have countries, Argentina. Okay. Argentina, Brazil. Brazil, let's see. Brazil has a number of deaths. A lot of them were shot. Some of this was unnamed. They were drowned and with their legs tied up. A lot of them were shot and stoned to death. Some of them were even beaten to death. Just could you imagine the amount of hate that is to sit down there and to beat somebody to death? Stoned to death, shot to death, stabbed to death, shot, beaten, burned to death. That's an unknown name. Okay. I'm still in Brazil, child. You see, I ain't called no other name yet. I'm still in Brazil because it looked like they have like about 80 folks that were killed in Brazil alone. And this is all within the same year. Within the last 365 days, these were the children that were killed. I'm still in Brazil, child. Damn. So, yes. Come on. I'm still in Brazil. I'm trying to get and read y'all the rest of the countries, but Brazil is dominating. Multiple gunshot wounds. Stabbed and beaten. Shot twice. Cut and strangled. Okay, here we go. Canada, Chile, Colombia, wow, Costa Rica, Dominican Republic, Ecuador, El Salvador, wow, strangled, Honduras, India, Italy, Malaysia, Mexico, wow, 2 gunshot wounds. Victim was then thrown into the streets, mutilated. Wow, shot to death, stabbed to death. Cause unknown, body was found in an abandoned suitcase. Wow. Beaten, her body was thrown into the street after it was killed. Asphyxiated. Strangled. Okay. Stoned to death. Exact cause not reported. Discovered body. Discovered bound with a bag over her head. Asphyxiation. This is still Mexico, children. Gunshot wounds. Throat slit. Okay. A lot of these are unknown, and they have a number of markers that they didn't know the children's names. All right, now we're into the Netherlands, Pakistan, wow, Uruguay, the Philippines, Russia, Saudi Arabia, South Africa, Sweden, Thailand. Wow. United States of America. Here we go. Now, these are the girls or our trans people that were killed here.
Her name is India Monroe from Newport News, Virginia, multiple gunshot wounds. Misha Caldwell, Canton, Mississippi, shot to death. Jamie Lee, wounded arrow from South Dakota, death was undetermined. JoJo Stryker, shot to death. Jaquarius Holland from Monroe, Louisiana. JoJo Stryker was from Toledo, Illinois. I'm sorry. And Jamie Lee was from Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Jaquarius Holland from Monroe, Louisiana was shot. Tiara Richmond, a.k.a. Kiki Collier from Chicago, Illinois, was shot. China Gibson, a.k.a. China Dow Dupree from New Orleans, she was shot to death. Sierra McClevin, New Orleans, Louisiana, multiple stab wounds. Alfonso Watson from Baltimore, Maryland, was shot to death. Kenny McFadden, drowned from San Antonio, Texas. Shay Juicy Red from Miami, Florida, she was shot to death. Miss Bostic from New York, New York, attacked with a metal pipe on the 24th of April. And they said, note that there has been a lot of confusion to the gender identity of this individual. What we do know is that they were born male and that they did for a period of time live as female. At the time of death, they were homeless and presenting as male. As such, we have put a gender-neutral designator on this name and are using that they or them pronouns. As with every case presented, any additional information will be desired. Sherelle Faulkner from Charlotte, North Carolina, passed away from injuries sustained in a November 30th, 2016 attack. Ima Alvarado from Fresno, California, she was shot. Alvarado did not identify as a transgender woman, but as a gay male. He was nevertheless presenting in female attire at the time of his murder, and this may have had a part in his death. Kendra Adams, a.k.a. Josie Berrios and a.k.a. Kimberly Rose from Ithaca, New York. She was murdered and burned. Ebony Morgan from Lynchburg, Virginia, shot multiple gunshot wounds. T.T. Dangerfield from College Park, Georgia, multiple gunshot wounds. Guinevere Riversong from Waxahachie, Texas, she was shot. Kiwi Herring from St. Louis, Missouri, shot by the police in suspicious circumstances. Note, while Herring was killed by the St. Louis Police Department, allegedly while brandishing a knife at officers, there were circumstances surrounding this death that were anti-transgender in nature, including threats and actions from a neighbor that led to the confrontation that led to Herring's death. Anthony Bubbles Torres was shot. Like Ima Alvarado above, Bubbles did not identify as a transgender woman. He was nevertheless presenting in feminine attire at the time of his murder, and this may have had a hand in his death. Derica Banner, Charlotte, North Carolina, shot to death. Allie Lee Steinfeld from Licking, Missouri. Allie was stabbed, including wounds to the genitalia. Her eyes were gouged out. Her body was burned in an attempt to conceal evidence of a crime, and some of Allie's bones were put into a garbage bag placed in a chicken coop near the residence. That was the one I was telling you about. Wow. Stephanie Montez from Robstown, Texas, multiple gunshot wound. Candace Towns from Macon, Georgia, shot to death. Now, those are all the American deaths. Then we have countries of Venezuela. Oh, okay. And Venezuela was the last country that we had that's on the list. So as I said, I salute all these names, and I've only read the names here in the United States because I didn't want to
tear up the other names because of their origin. You know, a lot of them are Hispanic names and things of that nature, and other names that I didn't want to mispronounce and have to keep going through mispronouncing names. So, but I did read off the countries that they were from and some of the wounds that were sustained and the cause of death, which is absolutely ridiculous. But here in this particular culture and in our country, we have to find better protections, better law enforcement. We as an LGBTQII, I'm just going to start calling it the LGBT plus community, we have to do a better job, too, with ourselves so that we can stop the internalized transphobia and stuff that we have within the community. A lot of us do not care for our trans community. A lot of us see them as second-class citizens in a lot of ways, and we have the audacity to sit down there and act as if we want to oppress a culture, you know, or oppress a populace when we ourselves are oppressed and oppressed populace. How is it that the oppressed become the oppressor? And the community doesn't have the kind of political resources and power to sit down there and do that. Why do we do this? You know, and all of those kinds of things. I shudder to think about it because oftentimes I believe that it's out of fear, it's out of ignorance, it's out of stupidity a lot of times because, you know, for the stupidity end of it, folks don't want to learn to do better. Folks don't want to broaden their horizons or whatever. Because I'm tending to believe that in order for this to happen, it's going to shake your foundation. Everything that you believe was supposed to be this, that, and the third, I really believe something like this will shake your core, destroy your foundation. Okay, so rather than to explore the possibilities and see what can come from it, and to gain closer access to whatever your faith is or a higher level in existence, we choose to sit down and shut it off and act as if it doesn't exist. If I close my eyes to it and I don't have to directly deal with it, then it means that I'm okay. And no, you're not. You know, all the sweeping it up under the rug does not mean that the problem is gone. It just created another problem because now you got a hump in the rug. Okay. So there we have it. Okay. I said I was going to talk about the Constitution, but I think I'm going to table that until next time because right now this is a heavy show, and with that, what I want to do is I'm just going to meditate on that for a minute. I don't want to overdo this and, you know, try to force you guys to come out and say anything because there's a number of you in the queue, but, you know, you are processing or either don't want to say or can't say anything right now, and that's fine. So I want to just take this time to process this information so that, you know, as we move forward, as we live forward, as we train and get ourselves ready for the next level of existence, I want you to consider how the trans community either touched your life directly or indirectly. Because for a lot of us who are of the LGBTQ plus community do not know your history. Because it was the trans girls, honey, who threw the first blows and carried on. It was the trans girls who kept going to jail and carried on and all of this, that, and the third. It was the trans girls. So a lot of this movement that is kind of like the equivalent to the bra burners, honey. I'm mad as hell and I'm not going to take it anymore. You know, this is that kind of equivalent to what the LGBT plus community has to give, because we have to get down to a point where they're going to listen and respect us so that they can shape the law so that it benefits everyone and not just a select few. So, having said all that, my darlings, you may finish your tea because the tea has been dished. And you've been dishing tea with Big Meats. Honey, if you love me, tell a friend. Honey, if you hate me, tell an enemy. But do know this: one way, shape, style, form of fashion, honey, everything that I am doing will move forward, okay? But what I will do, I'm going to play this particular song, honey, because oftentimes it feels like that. This old world ain't a friend of mine, honey, with the way how folks want to treat one another. Okay, on that note, honey, I'm going to leave you with this. Join me next week, and we're going to have a new discussion and carry on. Save the date for December 20th. December 20th, 2017, honey, our Christmas gift to the show will be the return of the R&B diva herself, honey, the one that was once underrated, who is now the mother of soul, because I'm calling her the mother of rebirth soul. Miss Selena Johnson will be here on December 20th with us, so save that date. And right now, honey, let me give you this, honey.
My baby's babies deserve to have a better life. Sometimes I feel like we got snakes and leeches in our backyard. Some people say we got gangsters and hustlers in the state and White House. But what I do know is we got killers and dealers in our streets.
This old world ain't a friend of mine. Gotta find a way to get a piece of mind. This old world ain't a friend of mine. Love for one another is very hard to find. We got bombs in Boston, 12-year-olds dead in Cleveland. It's a fact, he was black. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. Yes, he was. 3-year-old little girl shot dead in the streets of Detroit now. For those of you going through this song's for you, you gotta work hard just to pay your bills. But this world wants more than you have to feel. You can give your whole heart and get nothing in return. This world calls it lessons learned. Oh, this old world ain't a friend of mine. Gotta find a way to get a piece of mind. I need a piece of mind. This old world ain't a friend of mine. It ain't a friend of mine. Love of one another is very hard to find. We got a boiler coming overseas. Eric screaming, he can't breathe. Want some more? We hear you please. Black Lives Matter. History. It's a start. You're black. You know what I'm talking about. They can't stop our prosperity. Just keep on praying and watching me. You gotta work hard just to pay your bills. But this world wants more than you have to give. You can give your whole heart and get nothing in return. This world calls it lessons learned. This world ain't a friend of mine. This world ain't a friend of mine. This world ain't a friend of mine. It ain't a friend of mine. It ain't a friend of mine. No, it ain't a friend of mine. No, 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 no. It ain't a friend of mine. No, you can't trust nobody. Oh yeah. It ain't a friend of mine. No, no, no. You got snakes and leeches in your yard. You gotta hustle some pills. I gotta call on God.
We keep praying, even for our enemies, even though it's not a friend of mine.
You gotta go through struggle. We gotta deal with pain. This life. You gotta deal with rain. Don't worry about the pain.